The psychological power behind emotional manipulation and energetic control lies in the deep understanding of human nature and the ability to influence behavior without overt actions. It is the silent art of guiding emotions, directing thoughts, and shaping outcomes through energy and perception rather than force or authority. People who master this art operate in a realm that transcends logic and speech. They communicate through presence, tone, timing, and the subtle vibration of their energy. Every word, gesture, and pause is deliberate, yet appears effortless. This mastery begins with observation, the ability to read micro-expressions, notice shifts in tone, and detect the smallest fluctuations in someone's emotional state. It's about tuning into frequencies others overlook, picking up on what's left unsaid, and sensing emotional truth beneath polite masks. When someone has developed such depth of awareness, they no longer respond impulsively. They can anticipate reactions before they happen. They see the emotional triggers in every individual and learn how to activate or disarm them at will. The psychological foundation of this ability stems from empathy and intuition. Empathy allows understanding, but intuition allows prediction. Emotional manipulation, when wielded consciously, is not always about deceit, it's about influence. It is the strategic use of emotional cues to guide interactions toward desired outcomes. Those who possess this skill can make people feel understood, seen, or even indebted, depending on what the situation requires. They understand that emotions are energy, and energy is influence. The chosen ones who wield this power are often misunderstood because others perceive their control as manipulation, not realizing that their strength lies in emotional clarity. They do not manipulate to harm but to protect, to steer situations in alignment with truth, and to maintain emotional balance in chaotic environments. Energetic control gives them the ability to remain calm in conflict and magnetic in peace. It is the power of stability in a world addicted to emotional volatility. When others are reactive, they remain grounded. When others seek validation, they command respect. Their emotional mastery grants them the ability to regulate not only their own energy but the collective energy of any space they enter. Psychologically, emotional manipulation works on principles of projection, mirroring, and emotional contagion. Projection allows them to reflect others' emotions back to them, forcing individuals to confront their own feelings. Mirroring establishes subconscious rapport, making others feel deeply connected, understood, and seen. Emotional contagion spreads calmness or intensity as needed, allowing them to subtly shift group dynamics or individual moods. These are not random occurrences but intentional calibrations of energy to create harmony or disruption depending on what the moment requires. People may not understand why they feel so affected by the chosen one's presence. They simply feel pulled in, intrigued, or even unsettled because their emotional frequency has been subtly recalibrated. Energetic control also involves understanding power dynamics. Every interaction is a transaction of energy, and the one who remains emotionally unshaken maintains the upper hand. When people lose control of their emotions, they unconsciously hand over their power. The emotionally intelligent individual never reacts, they respond with purpose. They can de-escalate tension or intensify passion by choice. They know when to withdraw their energy to create absence and when to amplify it to command attention. Their detachment is often mistaken for coldness, but it is, in truth, precision. They refuse to be drained by emotional chaos and instead redirect energy to manifest their desired outcomes. The psychology behind this power is deeply tied to self-awareness and self-discipline. Those who master emotional manipulation must first master themselves. They must confront their own shadows, fears, and insecurities, for only then can they influence others without being consumed by their emotions. Manipulation in its purest form is simply emotional navigation, steering feelings toward an intended direction while remaining centered. This is why the chosen ones appear calm when others panic, confident when others doubt, and composed when others break. They know emotions are contagious, and whoever controls the emotional tone controls the narrative. Energetic control extends beyond conversation, it's also nonverbal. Eye contact, posture, breath rhythm, and subtle movements all communicate dominance, receptivity, or neutrality. A steady gaze can disarm, a calm voice can soothe, and a moment of silence can pressure. Every physical cue is a psychological instrument. The chosen ones use energy as their primary language. They can walk into a room and immediately sense tension, attraction, or deceit without a single word spoken. Their intuition functions as an antenna, scanning emotional frequencies and revealing hidden motives. This awareness allows them to adjust their own energy accordingly, lowering it to appear non-threatening or amplifying it to assert presence. This mastery also connects to the subconscious. The human mind operates largely through subconscious cues, and emotional manipulators access this layer naturally. They understand that the subconscious mind responds to tone more than words, to energy more than explanations. When they speak, they embed emotional undertones that bypass logic and influence feeling. Their messages linger in the psyche of others long after the conversation ends. They can inspire loyalty, evoke guilt, or ignite courage simply through calibrated emotional delivery. People may leave interactions feeling changed but unable to explain why. At the root of it all is perception. The chosen ones perceive people not as they present themselves but as they truly are: vulnerable, masked, and layered. They can see the child behind the arrogance, the fear behind the anger, and the insecurity behind the pride. This awareness gives them power, for once you understand someone's emotional foundation, you can predict their reactions and redirect their energy. The ability to emotionally influence others is not inherently dark, it becomes dark only when used to exploit rather than elevate. In truth, the psychological power behind emotional manipulation is the power of emotional literacy, the fluency to read, write, and rewrite the emotional codes that govern human behavior. It is the ultimate mastery of energy, perception, and intent, woven together in silent precision. How awareness and emotional intelligence set the chosen ones apart begins with their rare ability to perceive reality beyond surface-level interactions. Most people navigate life reacting to circumstances and emotions without understanding the hidden mechanics driving them. The chosen ones, however, see through these layers. Their heightened awareness allows them to interpret meaning in tone, timing, energy, and silence, the language beneath words. They understand that every emotion, every reaction, every decision has an energetic root, and by perceiving it clearly, they can anticipate what others will do before they even act. This awareness is not learned overnight, it develops through observation, solitude, and a deep connection with one's inner world. Emotional intelligence, for them, is not just empathy, it's mastery over both internal and external emotional realities. Their awareness makes them different because they no longer see conflict or chaos as random. They understand that emotions are signals, not enemies. Where others get caught in drama, they dissect it. They can step outside their own feelings, examine them objectively, and decide how to respond with precision rather than impulse. This level of control is rare because it requires emotional detachment without losing compassion. The chosen ones don't suppress emotions, they process them quickly and redirect their energy to where it serves a higher purpose. Their inner calm becomes a magnetic force that influences everyone around them. People feel safe, seen, or challenged in their presence, depending on the frequency they project. Emotional intelligence grants them a kind of vision that others lack: the ability to sense intentions behind smiles, insecurities behind confidence, and truth behind performance. They observe more than they speak, listen more than they respond, and always analyze before reacting. Their awareness stretches into emotional patterns. They notice the repeated cycles people fall into, the emotional traps society encourages, and the collective manipulation that keeps people reactive. They can see how most individuals unconsciously give away their power through emotional outbursts, validation seeking, or fear-driven choices. Because the chosen ones are aware of this, they refuse to participate in the emotional games that drain others. They protect their energy like treasure, knowing it fuels their intuition and strength. Their emotional intelligence allows them to become masters of connection. They know how to make people feel deeply understood without saying much. They understand that true influence doesn't come from loudness but from resonance. When they speak, their words hit differently because they carry the vibration of awareness. They can uplift others by recognizing hidden pain, inspiring self-reflection, or simply holding silence until the truth surfaces. Their energy speaks louder than their voice, and people sense it immediately. This is why they are remembered even after short encounters. Their awareness leaves an imprint on others' emotional fields. The chosen one's awareness also extends inward. They are brutally honest with themselves, constantly monitoring their motives, reactions, and attachments. They are not slaves to emotion but students of it. Every pain, every disappointment, every joy is studied and understood. This inner reflection sharpens their intuition, giving them an almost psychic sensitivity to energy. They can feel when something is off, when someone is lying, or when an environment holds hidden tension. Their awareness protects them from manipulation because they see through emotional illusions instantly. They don't fall for charm without depth or promises without integrity. Their emotional intelligence acts like armor, invisible but impenetrable. Because they live with such awareness, they move differently in the world. They know when to engage and when to withdraw. They sense when a conversation is meaningful or draining. They can feel when their presence is needed and when their silence speaks louder. This intuitive navigation keeps them aligned with their path and shields them from unnecessary drama. They don't chase validation or attention because they already understand how energy flows. What you chase runs away, and what you align with flows naturally. Awareness teaches them patience, and emotional intelligence teaches them precision. Together, these traits create a quiet authority that others can feel but rarely comprehend. In relationships, their emotional intelligence creates both admiration and misunderstanding. Some are drawn to their calmness, others are intimidated by their emotional depth. People often project their insecurities onto the chosen ones because their awareness acts as a mirror, reflecting truth back at them. This reflection can be uncomfortable for those who avoid self-awareness. The chosen ones, however, do not take this personally. They understand projection as part of emotional defense mechanisms. They respond with understanding rather than retaliation. Their awareness gives them the power to de-escalate tension, dissolve manipulation, and restore balance simply by staying grounded in truth. Their emotional intelligence also allows them to lead without dominance. They influence not by force but by alignment. When they walk into a room, the energy shifts because their internal frequency is stable and clear. People unconsciously attune to that stability, feeling calmer or more focused around them. This is how the chosen ones naturally lead, through presence, not position. Their awareness allows them to sense collective emotion and guide it subtly. In chaotic situations, they become anchors. In emotional storms, they become clarity. Behind this awareness lies deep self-discipline. The chosen ones train themselves to pause before reacting, to analyze emotion before expressing it, and to stay mindful of their impact. They are aware that emotions are contagious, and one ungrounded reaction can ripple through an entire environment. This understanding gives them immense responsibility. They manage their emotional output carefully, ensuring it reflects intention rather than impulse. They don't waste energy trying to change others. Instead, they master themselves so deeply that their presence alone changes the environment. The connection between awareness and emotional intelligence is what defines the chosen ones as masters of energy and emotion. They operate on a level where nothing is coincidence, where every emotional exchange is an energetic dialogue. Their awareness transforms them into emotional architects. They can construct peace in chaos, insight in confusion, and empowerment in despair. They see emotion not as weakness but as information, not as burden but as power. This perception allows them to move through life with a balance of empathy and clarity, connection and control, sensitivity and strength, Existing as a bridge between feeling and understanding in a world ruled by emotional blindness, the fine line between influence, authenticity, and manipulation mastery is one of the most complex dynamics that the chosen ones understand better than anyone else. It is the subtle balance between using emotional intelligence to connect and using it to control. Influence in its purest form is the ability to inspire change, to awaken awareness in others through truth and intention. Manipulation, on the other hand, often stems from ego, fear, or the desire to dominate. The chosen ones walk this line carefully, aware that their understanding of emotions and human psychology gives them a kind of power that must be handled with integrity. They know that energy, once directed, carries weight, and their words can heal or harm depending on the vibration behind them. To master emotion is to master influence, but to stay authentic while doing so is the real art that few ever perfect. Their authenticity is what separates them from those who manipulate for personal gain. The chosen ones do not fake their emotions to deceive, they express what is necessary to maintain alignment. When they influence others, it comes from a place of understanding and awareness, not exploitation. They know how to guide people emotionally without lying to them. Their energy resonates with truth, and that resonance is what makes their influence so potent. Authentic influence doesn't require performance, it radiates naturally. People can feel when something is real, even if they can't explain why. The chosen ones understand this instinctively and use their awareness to create genuine impact. They influence by being emotionally grounded, by embodying clarity, and by holding steady in situations where others lose balance. Manipulation mastery, however, is not inherently dark. It depends entirely on the intention behind it. When rooted in awareness and authenticity, manipulation transforms into direction, the conscious steering of emotion toward harmony, truth, and growth. The chosen ones understand that to bring balance to a chaotic world, one must sometimes guide others' emotions strategically. They can calm anger, dissolve fear, or awaken courage using emotional cues. What makes this powerful is that they are not doing it to control but to uplift. They manipulate energy, not people. They see emotions as frequencies that can be tuned, and they adjust those frequencies with precision. Their mastery lies in understanding that emotions dictate behavior, and whoever can navigate emotions can influence reality. Still, this level of awareness can make them targets of misunderstanding. Many people, unable to comprehend emotional mastery, label it as manipulation because they feel exposed in its presence. The chosen ones can see through facades and emotional masks, and when someone's illusions are gently dismantled, it can feel like intrusion. What's really happening is truth being reflected back, and truth can be uncomfortable. The chosen ones remain calm in such situations because they understand that authenticity is often mistaken for manipulation by those who fear self-awareness. They know that their influence may challenge others, but they also know that those who are ready for growth will feel drawn to their energy, not threatened by it. Their mastery of authenticity requires constant self-checking. The chosen ones frequently reflect on their motives to ensure their influence remains clean. They ask themselves whether they are guiding or controlling, helping or feeding the ego. This self-awareness keeps their energy pure. They understand that authenticity is not about revealing everything but about being true in every action. Sometimes authenticity is gentle, sometimes it is fierce. It means standing firm in truth even when silence would be easier. It means influencing others through alignment, not manipulation through deceit. Every action they take carries energetic intention, and they are fully aware of the ripples they create. In relationships, this fine line becomes even more delicate. The chosen ones know that emotions create deep bonds, and with their level of emotional perception, they can easily sway hearts. But instead of using that power to gain control, they use it to bring clarity and healing. They know how to hold space for others' emotions without absorbing them. They understand how to mirror emotions back to people so they can see themselves more clearly. This ability can make others feel seen on a profound level, sometimes even exposed. That's why people often feel both comforted and unsettled around the chosen ones. They sense authenticity, but they also sense that they can't hide their true selves. This transparency is what makes their influence so strong. The mastery of this balance also involves understanding timing and silence. The chosen ones know that influence is not always about speaking but about presence. Sometimes the most powerful manipulation is energetic, shifting the emotional tone of a room without saying a word. Their authenticity strengthens this power because their energy is aligned with truth. When their intent is pure, their silence speaks louder than words. People are drawn to that stillness, sensing stability in a world filled with emotional noise. This is the ultimate expression of influence, not forcing emotion, but harmonizing it. Walking this fine line also means facing temptation. The chosen ones are aware that they could easily dominate emotional situations, bend others' will, and control outcomes with little resistance. But mastery is not about indulgence, it's about restraint. True power lies in knowing you can manipulate but choosing not to. Authentic influence requires the discipline to use emotional intelligence responsibly. They recognize that every moment they choose truth over control, their energy evolves. Every time they influence without ego, their frequency rises. The fine line becomes a spiritual path, a journey of balance between power and purity. Ultimately, what sets the chosen ones apart is not their ability to manipulate emotions but their wisdom in knowing when and why to do so. They move through the world as emotional alchemists, turning pain into insight, confusion into clarity, and chaos into calm. Their authenticity keeps their influence sacred, and their awareness ensures that their power serves purpose rather than pride. This balance makes them both feared and respected, misunderstood and admired. In mastering the art of influence without losing themselves to manipulation, they embody the highest form of emotional power, influence born from truth, control guided by compassion, and mastery fueled by integrity.